So, hi and welcome, everybody. Welcome to you sitting here watching this wonderful interview that we are going to have now with Dr. Pascal Vidal. Thank you for taking the time to do this interview, Pascal. It's wonderful to see you.
Thank you, and thank you for also for you for taking the time for it, and thank you for all the persons attending the video for their attention and the time they take to listen to it.
Yeah. So, Pascal, you are doing this amazing education in photonic medicine. You are a teacher, you're a doctor, and person who works with colors and light a lot. And you have said yes to doing a full-on education um, where the place will be in Denmark. I will be hosting, and it will be in English. This is amazing because you've done this before, but you've done it in French, and now you've opened up and you're going to do it in English. Would you tell us a bit about yourself, so we know who you are, and then tell us what photonic medicine is?
Okay, thank you for the question, and thank you for hosting the education, which will happen in English, as you said before, because I've been teaching in French in Besançon for 4 years, but I think now it's the time to open to other languages and to share it and to expand it abroad. So I'm medical doctor, allopathic doctor, but I was trained also in homeopathy, in Chinese acupuncture, in auriculotherapy, and then I met in 2011 Dean Magnin, Dean Pierre Magnin, who was the founder of the Photonic Medicine, and I immediately felt in love with the method and with Dean Magnin, who was an important person and such a strong man, and with so deep knowledge about biology, biochemistry, and medicine that I was really amazed. And I have been learning with him for 10 years about his method. And then we have been writing together 4 books. Only one is in print in French, but this book is already translated in English, but not yet available because I'm on
We
the
are looking
process of.
forward to that book.
Yes, because I'm on the process of proofreading it for the
Mhm.
moment. And then, so I hope to be able to deliver soon the book, but it's not the moment. But I mean, the work has been done and still a little bit is to be done. So, photonic medicine actually is a way, it's a complementary medicine who can give a doctor or can give a health practitioner some clues, some indications to comfort a diagnose. And then the photonic medicine is a technique using the vast perception, which is the Norgis pulse in auriculotherapy, which is a response from the autonomous nervous system. And we do an exploration of the pinna of the Here pavilion with colors, assessing the vase at the same time, which will allow us to find the location who are disrupted or imbalanced or sick. And then with different colors, we get some informations because in photonic medicine, Dean Magnin, who was a researcher on brain, he has a service of explorations of brain functions, and he discovered that the pinna, the here pavilion, is an interface of the limbic system running all these automatic functions of the body. And then when we found a response to the vase with the colors, that means that there is some function which is not working properly. And then we get the information from the limbic brain. So through the colors, we treat and we give an information of correction to the limbic brain. And then we will work applying the same sequence of colors on the damage or on the not working properly organs or functions with the same colors. And we have amazing results because, of course, that was not very well known 50 years ago, but it's
Yeah.
quite very well and each day more well known today that
Colors
the
are getting more and more into the knowledge, the understanding of health. Actually, like it was 100 years ago, it was not that uncommon to use light and color
Yeah.
for health and getting better. So I just want to say, just a question. So when we use photonic medicine, it's like a combination of what we also call auricular medicine, or the understanding of the ear, how the body is represented on the ear.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
then, yeah, and then we work, you search on the ear, you work on the ear and use color and light.
Yeah.
And then after you go to the area that is sick or damaged or not in a healthy balance, and then you project the lights onto the specific area on the body as well.
Yes, of course. That's it.
Ah,
And
okay, good.
what is also interesting is that we may detect in the ear some areas which are dysfunctioning but are not yet clinically manifested.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
we can correct before it manifests also. So we have
Yeah.
a prevention impact. But the thing, what I was willing to say is that 50 years ago, I mean, one of the first person discovering the immense power of light on biology was Professor Albert Szent-Györgyi, who has a Nobel Prize. He was the one who founded the he wrote an amazing book called Introduction to Submolecular Biology, and who
Mm.
explains the interaction between light and biology. But nowadays, it's more and more well known that the light is at the core of biology, is sustaining all the biochemic reactions and all the metabolism. So that's a way, I mean, there are many indications and many experiments and many proofs of the interaction of light with biological systems who allow us to understand how the input of light and colors on the surface of the body can have a deep impact on biology. And we have quite very often very quick response to it, to the treatment we apply.
I remember getting education by Pierre
Yeah.
many years ago.
Mm.
And one of the things that was amazing, but also very complicated about his way of teaching, was that he wanted to go very deep into the, like you also talked about before we started the interview, into the mitochondria, into the cells, into understanding the deep, deep end of the body. And there is now, from the way you teach, it's kind of, well, it was very complex. And I experienced last time you were teaching that you made it more accessible.
Mhm. Thank you.
Not to put Pierre in a bad position,
Mm.
it is just a very complex subject.
Yeah.
But as I understand it, it's very important to use this information when you work with photonic medicine.
Yeah, it's important to understand what we are doing and how it can work. So that's why I will also explain all these theoretical basis of understanding. And of course, I'm learning presently so many things about mitochondria. There is a huge amount of discoveries about mitochondria, and especially, for example, that they have a social life. They meet each other, they can even melt, they can share their DNA when
Their
one is dying.
knowledge.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting. And the important thing, why am I speaking about mitochondria, is because light is having a deep and a direct impact on mitochondria. There are some chromophores inside the mitochondria in the respiratory chain, and that allow, for example, the process of photobiomodulation to happen. It's the cytochrome C oxidase, which is one of the enzymes of the respiratory chain, which is there and really relevant. It's not the only one, but what I want to say is that I will try to share my knowledge also about the mitochondria, in the sense that if we can help them to be well functioning and that they will respond to some specific conditions, then of course we will increase the power of the light we are going to use to treat the patients, and we can expect
And
to have
increase health.
better results.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and light is the basis of health, and of course mitochondria also are the basis of health.
yeah.
So
Well, it's our cells, it's what we're made of.
Of
It's
course.
the factory that makes us function, you
But
say, no?
nowadays, for example, quite recently, there was a study published that we have discovered that constantly that the human body is irradiating light, but it's a very ultra weak emission of light. And then, so there are many discoveries, which is that's many proofs that the light is really at the core of the metabolism and at the core of life, of course, of course.
That's
So
amazing.
what I really like is that, in photonic medicine, we are in a period of time in which everything requires machines or computers. You make
Mm.
analyses, everything is um, controlled by some specific devices. Here, there is no device at all. The only device is the thumb to take the pulse and to assess the VAS. And then, what I like is that it's really a natural interaction with the human body we have in front, and there is no machine to interfere. Of course, I'm not saying that it's not at all useful, but the way we treat requires nothing but the attention and a deep listening to what we find. And of
So
course, the intention of doing well.
yeah, um, when we use photonic medicine, it's just I'm getting a little confused now, so I just have to hear this. Um, you say we use the thumb, and this is for using the pulse and the
Yeah,
understanding of the response from the body.
yeah, it's a
But we
it's
do
a
use
feedback.
kind of a light device
Yeah,
with colors.
yeah.
So this is the only
That's the only device we use.
device. Yeah.
It's the light. Actually, the tool we use of course, we need a device which can generate some specific light, but we
Mhm.
use colored filters from the Kodak range. It's actually all these colors are included in the natural sunlight. So
Yeah.
of course. So then what I want to say is that the medium which is treating the patient and who is correcting the imbalances and all that is only the light. It's the energy and the information that lights carry with it, because light it's not only a wavelength or a photon, it's also an information. And this information will give more order in and bringing energy will bring more order inside the system and help the body to heal itself.
Remember, Pierre talked a lot about the oxygen for the cells.
Yeah,
Um, and also you did, of course, last time you were here, but I don't know how you would say that, oxygenating the cells or making sure
yeah,
that there is a healthy circulation in the cells is part of using the colors.
yeah. Pierre was also a pneumologist at the beginning of his life, so he developed a technique to increase the ventilation, the quality of the ventilation the patient could have. And he was working as a pneumologist in hospitals, and he actually set up this method for mainly for asthmatic patients. But this method I will teach also, because he taught me that also, is also part of the process we can use to increase our ability to fix the oxygen in the blood, because of course the health of the organs will depend on their production of energy. You
Mm.
know, the
Mhm.
energy production in the cells is happening in the mitochondria and in the respiratory chain. And the cellular respiration is all the process coming from the glycolysis till the chain transport of electrons on the mitochondria, who are producing by each molecule of glucose 36 ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, which is the fuel for all the life. I mean,
Yeah.
ATP could be converted in anything, electrical signal, heat, etc. But so, of course, the aim of the one of the places of impact of the photonic medicine, as I told, is the mitochondria, and of course, it will support and increase the quality of the cellular respiration, which is the energy production,
Mm.
because we cannot live through without ATP. A human body not producing ATP at one point, stopping to produce it completely, has only
Yeah.
less than a minute of life.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but then you can advance that, so it's better, and we get more. Could you say that it's our body is better or is able to use, and um, how could you express this? That it's better to, it's getting more oxygen, so
Yeah,
that we will not feel depleted, so that we will have enough to run our body,
yeah. The
to
intake
run
of
our,
oxygen and the functioning of the oxygen will help, of course, the body to get constantly nourished by energy producing
yes,
itself.
nourished. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So you're already there, I can hear, but could you elaborate a bit on, like, for what situations would photonic medicine be beneficial?
Actually, I would say, of course, on most situations it would be beneficial. As I said before, you can make an examination of the hair pavilion to have a detection of what's the state, the condition at one point. So then, even if the patient doesn't, even if the person doesn't have any complaint, you can find undetected and unmanifested yet problems, which will manifest if nothing is done. So there is a first of all an action of prevention. When there is a disorder or a disease which is there, of course, when there is a tisular destruction, that means that if you have a tissue who is dead because he hasn't been cured on time, we cannot give him back to life. But in all other conditions where there is damage, when there is dysfunction, or many sometimes complex situations with many intrications of different processes, pathological processes, of course, we can help. Why? Because light, I mean, physically speaking, is a wavelength with a photon. And each photon, according to its wavelength, will carry with him energy. This, I remember Pierre Magnin saying, when we use light on the patient, it's like we do an injection of energy. It's not an injection of vitamins, but of energy. And this energy will be stored in the cells and then will be restituted later on, and that will help so many enzymatic reactions who are not properly working to work. Because
Yeah.
we have to we don't have to forget that our body temperature is at 37 degrees, and he was also taking an image to make us understand that. He says, well, if you want to make and you want to cook a soup with meat and with carrots and vegetables, if we put it at 37 degrees, it will take quite a long time to cook. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that for all this metabolism to happen, we need enzymes. Biochemical reactions need enzymes.
Mm.
But enzymes at the same time to function will need light, because they cannot work if night is not there, because each enzyme has also one or several trace elements who are triggering the functioning of these enzymes. And the impact of the light on the trace elements, which are metals, is quite interesting, because there is a change in the electronic configuration. In many metals, there are a possibility of different electronic configurations, different states. So then it can shift to to one state, and then that brings out energy.
Okay. So just to sum up, that this means that unless something is dead, we can actually treat it
Yeah.
with photonic medicine.
And you have many patients, for example, um, chronic fatigue is quite a thing, quite common. And of
Yeah.
course, for example, chronic fatigue is involving mitochondria, but mitochondrial impairment. But of course, if we use light, we bring light to the person, we will restore his level of energy. Of course,
Mm.
we have to understand why there is this chronic fatigue. So then all that's a process of the exploration of the ear, and then that's quite interesting.
Yeah. So uh, when we I don't know if there is any more you want to elaborate specifically on some of the knowledge that we're going to learn over this education.
So basically, I will try to share what I learned with Dean Magnin for 10 years, what I learned practically and theoretically, because it's quite, as I said before, interesting to understand how the work we practice can work, what are the explanations. I like that. And I try also to make it simple because it could be very complex, but I don't want to go in complexities for everyone. And and of course, we will treat, so there will be the next module beginning in February will be a kind of, how to say, prise en main of the method, which is the
Yes, a sum up
sum up and
and
how,
continuing and building
and
on.
yeah, and how to handle the method,
Mm,
and how to understand practically how we work. Of course, I will develop much more than in the introductory course that happened in November 24, or the properties of all the colors we use, because
yeah,
that's quite interesting. There are quite a lot. And I will give, of course, as the Kodak filters are not available anymore, the equivalents we found on the Lee
on the leaf
catalog,
filters.
yeah, Lee filters.
Yes,
And I will explain, of course, all the processes involved at the biological level to understand. And then, of course, for those who are not familiar with the HEAR pavilion and the auricular therapy charts, I will give also an introduction to that. So
yeah,
then everyone can be, and I will give advices to begin simply,
yeah,
simple things, because if we cannot go while we don't master all the information of the colors, of the vase, etc., etc., it's difficult to go in complex situations. So I think we have to begin slowly, easily with easy things, and then we get good results, which is also stimulating for us and stimulating us to learn more and to go.
yes. So we have to talk about how the education is built up. But before doing that, because I think you already opened up, like, is this a course that anybody can join, or do you have to be an acupuncturist or an auricular therapist or a doctor, or do you have to be a therapist? Like, what is there a limit to who can participate?
Well, I mean, the main thing, of course, is to have knowledge about the human body and be interested in the
Yes.
human body, because
Yeah.
you can be no therapy, you cannot be. I mean, if you are not a therapist, but you may want to treat your friends or your family, and that's fine, of
Mm,
course. But the main population I'm expecting to have will be healthcare practitioners. That means
yes.
acupuncturists, reflexologists, osteopaths, of course, medical doctors. It could be nurses, could
Nurses,
be, yeah,
physiotherapists.
all these
Yeah.
medical professions, or there are medical practitioners and there are also healthcare practitioners.
Yeah.
So all these are really welcome.
Yeah. All right. And if you are in doubt, now I'm talking to you out there. If you are in doubt, if you can participate, you can write to me or to Pascal, and I will forward the mail to Pascal if there is a question about that.
Great.
So I would like to talk a little about how the education is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as Pascal said, there was a course in November 24. And this course has been recorded and is available online. And this is a part of the full education. So the full education will be 7 modules, and over the course of the next 2 years. And we start in February. And over the course of the next 2 years, there will be three uh, three weekends: Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in February, in September and December 2026, and again in February, September, and December 2027. And the module 1 that has already happened in November, you will have access to that, so you can watch it online. And to participate in the full education, You will need to be in person in Copenhagen, where this course is taking place, for at least 2 of the weekends each year. So 4 times you have to be present, and 1 time each year you can choose to watch from home, and everything will be recorded so that you can access the knowledge again. Whether you are online or in person in the institute, you will have access to the recorded material. So yeah, that is like the foundation of the education. And in between each module, we will have a Zoom where Pascal will answer questions, so that between February and September, we might have two two Zooms, whatever is necessary, I think. And we have this we have a group where you can ask questions, so that you can practice a lot and still get feedback, because the practice is what makes the master.
I want really to point out that point is that really the practice is very important because, as we said before, the vas perception, which is a signal, vascular signal, is really crucial to appreciate the condition of the patient and also to appreciate when is the time for us to work with this color, when we have to stop or not to stop. And it will help also to make a follow-up of the patient from one session to another one, seeing the evolution of the vas perception. You will see if the patient has improved, or is he stable, etc.
Yeah.
So that's a very important to practice is very important.
And this is also why the first course was in 2 days, and the next 6 modules will be in 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, exactly because of that, so that there will be time to practice on each other, but also on people that comes from the outside. Not for the first 2 modules, I think, like module 2 and 3, we have decided not to have
Mm.
people from outside. This can be, we need to find out what is necessary, but we want people from outside, so that you have somebody that is not necessarily a health practitioner and has a lot of ideas on how they should be treated, so that you can get the experience while Pascal is present and guiding and helping.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah. And at the end, we want to also just to say that we will make some kind of examination before getting the full certificate. You can participate without doing the examination, but the full certificate stating that you are photonic medicine practitioner will come with a few tests, so that we are sure, and Pascal is sure, that when he puts his name on, that this is a great photonic medicine practitioner, that we in fact know that there is the knowledge behind it. And of course, our aim, Pascal's aim, is to make make you know all of this and feel like this is something that you really deeply understand. Yeah.
I can only add something is that since I met Pierre Magnin and since I began to work with photonic medicine, at the beginning I was using photonic medicine and working also with auriculotherapy. But at one point I decided to dive and to stay only with photonic medicine. So I stopped the practice of needling and all that in auriculotherapy in order to go deeper on the practice of
Hmm.
photonic medicine. And even in difficult situations, I wasn't having a clue to try to understand how I could try to solve the problem and all that. And actually, I can only say that I'm very happy every day to go work because I love what I do, and to see the patients, how they react and how the benefit they have. It's really amazing. So it's really a real pleasure to be and work in such a way with the patients.
So a question here at the end. I would like to know, like, I'm an auricular therapist and a posturologist, and I also do, or well, my base is also TCM acupuncture, and I'm a reflexologist. And can I combine my knowledge that I already have with the knowledge that you are going to teach me over the next 2 years?
Well, I will I will answer you very easily. You know, I'm also um, Chinese acupuncturist. I am
Yeah.
also a homeopath. I did also reflexology. I did also posturology, and of course auriculotherapy. So, of course, it's you can combine everything. I mean, the only thing is that sometimes it's good not to combine it in the same session. That's the only thing. It's like I would say it's like some how do you say programs in computer programs. If you are if you have begin to open a file in a Word format, it cannot be it will you cannot follow it in Excel, for example. So
Ah,
you have to finish your work in the format on the program you are using. So I consider the techniques a little bit like that. It's better to stick to one thing when you begin. If you do a session, it's better to do photonic medicine only. But of course,
mm,
in some cases, if you have no time, etc., you can combine with auriculotherapy.
yeah. All right. Thank you.
And but that's it.
Yeah. I want to say that this education will last until the end of 27. We'll start in February, end of February 26, and we'll finish at the end of 2027 in December. So if you are interested in this education, it will not start again before earliest in 2028. So if you have an interest in being in this course. We don't know what will happen in 2028, but we know that we are starting now. And just just to give you a heads up that if you're interested, please jump on board. And we are actually already a big team starting this education, but we have a few spots open. And it will be wonderful if you feel that you could be interested in spreading the practitioner of color in your country where you are living in your clinic, because light and color is the future of healthcare, if you ask me, and I guess also Pascal.
Of course, of course.
Yeah,
I'm very happy.
yeah. So thank you so much, Pascal, for
Thank you so
taking
much,
the time,
Ricky. Yes, thank you so much for
and
the interview.
you're welcome. And if you have any questions, um, contact us wherever you see this on that platform. Write to us, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. And thank you for participating.